And we see it in the British Labour Party, where the Home Secretary has decided they are not going to use their powers to deport a controversial activist called Alaa Abd El Fattah. Now, this person is Egyptian. They have a long, long history of really virulent, violent tweets, social media posts, speeches, all sorts of things. This person has been granted citizenship by the UK, and now Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has said she's not going to use her powers to deport this Egyptian who was only granted British citizenship in 2021 because of, I think, his mother. Brendan, what's the latest on this?
It's a really shocking story, and it really tells us so much about Keir Starmer's government here in the UK. You know, El Fattah, this Egyptian so-called human rights activist, is actually someone with deeply unpleasant views, very unpleasant views. He was tweeting about killing Zionists. He was tweeting certain racist terms. He was saying that he hates white people. He wants to genocide white people and kill British police officers. You know, and he was tweeting all this when he was 29 years old, 30 years old. So these are not stupid tweets written by a teenager. He was a full-grown man when he wrote this stuff. And yet he was welcomed with open arms into the UK a couple of weeks ago by Keir Starmer and by the rest of the government. They are such idiots. They didn't even do their due diligence and look at what this guy has been saying, and it's all on the public record. And now the Home Secretary refuses to deport him. I think our borders are so broken at the moment. We would have let in just about anyone. And I think this is really a story of the crisis of British sovereignty and the inability of the British government to get a handle on who's coming to this country and whether or not they deserve to be here.
Yeah, no, look, that's absolutely right. And, you know, Britain is also a great example of what happens when you get your multiculturalism so wrong that you have to keep policing what everybody says and does. And I was really struck by this story today in the British press that the Hindu community in Britain is warning that Labour's definition of Islamophobia is going to have a chilling, significant chilling effect on their freedom of speech. Brendan, this seems like a fascinating little tale of what happens, you know, when you start to balkanize your society so much that all you can do is tighten the rules on everybody.
That's right. And, you know, Islamophobia is such a slippery word. I mean, I think just about everyone now knows what it really means. It means that you're not allowed to criticize any aspect of Islam. It is a rehabilitation of blasphemy laws through the back door to create this new force field around one religion only, the religion of Islam, so that you can't criticize its belief system, you can't criticize its ideas, its holy book, or any of the practices of Muslim people. And it does clamp down on freedom of speech, the freedom of speech of ordinary Brits, the freedom of speech of Hindu Brits. It really does. But you're right, Britain is balkanizing. The project of multiculturalism has turned us into these different ethnic enclaves who are constantly at each other's throats and looking at each other with suspicion. Britain is a prime example of how the ideology of multiculturalism doesn't work. And unless we stand up for true British values and compel people to subscribe to them if they want to live in this country, then we're in big trouble.
And just quickly, Brendan, it does seem ironic to me that Britain, which created free speech and the right to speak about the church and anybody else, is now going down this road.
Absolutely. You know, we have struggled so hard in this country for freedom of the press and freedom of speech. We've been doing that for hundreds of years. Arguably, we influenced the Americans to adopt the First Amendment as well when they defend freedom of speech. And now we're just sacrificing it all in the name of multiculturalism.
Brendan,
it's one of the great
Brendan, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your insights. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you.